Hello, everyone, and I just wanted to do an update on the death of animal rights activist Regan Russell, because finally, and this is pretty much exactly a month after her death, her tragic death, she was killed on June 19th, and this charge came yesterday, July 20th, so 1 month and a day. Um, the truck driver who hit her has been charged, but there's some disappointment with the charges. So let me just, he's been charged with careless driving. So that's, he should have been aware of what he was doing, watching where he was going, and his actions caused her death, but they are not necessary. They're not saying it was intentional. So it's not a manslaughter charge. And a lot of the activists are upset. Remember, some of them obviously were there and witnessed this, which I just can't even imagine. So it's a 28-year-old truck driver. He's been charged by the police with careless driving in the death of animal rights activist Regan Russell. Let's see here. So it says the news release from Halton Regional Police said the man is charged with careless driving, causing death under the Ontario's Highway Traffic Act, but there are no grounds to indicate this was an intentional act or that a criminal offense has been committed. Now, it's really interesting, and I can't obviously speak to this specific situation, but I've watched videos of, save movements in the UK where you can see that the truck drivers often restart moving in anger. They don't want to be held up. So I've seen videos where activists have had to jump out of the way and been forced out of the way. So while I cannot speak to whether or not that's what happened here, there is some disappointment with those who were there. So I'm going to get to that article in a moment. But I know that some of these truck drivers feeling testy, unhappy with our message, of course, they don't necessarily act in the way they should. So she was obviously, as we will recap, she was hit by this transport truck just before 10:30 a.m. outside of Farron's Pork at Appleby Line and Harvester Road. And she was a vegan for 41 years and championed animal rights for 40 years, among other social justice causes. Witnesses said Russell gave water to pigs inside a truck about to enter the meat processing plant shortly before she was killed. Police said their collision reconstruction unit interviewed witnesses and watched video footage. Oh, God, that captured the entirety of the incident. Wow. Okay. The driver lives in North Perth, which is northwest of Kitchener. So I'm going to say that that's probably a good hour and a half to 2 hours from Burlington where this happened. So the statement from the family says, "We're disappointed by the lack of criminal charges and would like respect and time in digesting this information." The family has also said they would support a coroner's inquest. So when I was watching the news and I saw like Anita Krines, I think is how you say her name, she is the founder and pretty much the leader of the Pig Save movement here. I think she's actually was the start of it, and it's expanded worldwide. But they are wanting a coroner's inquest into her death. So activists have routinely held what they call vigils outside of Fairman's, and on June 19th they were also voicing opposition to the new Bill 156, which is going to basically put a halt on people being able to show cruelty in farms you can't go on and secretly film or share secretly filmed video of animals going through the hell that they go through, and probably not even gather to give pigs water. I mean, we're such a messed up society. It's unbelievable. So, Animal Save Movement in Toronto criticized the police for not laying criminal charges, saying it does not amount to justice for Regan. The group called on police to release the video footage, which, possibly is the only real way for people to see what we need to see. I mean, I don't need to see all of that, but like to be able to judge for ourselves. Reflecting global attention, Russell's death has attracted PETA, who also criticized the charge, saying the penalty should reflect the death of a kind and gentle soul who did no wrong. I mean, I just really can't wrap my head around how this happened. So this is a little bit more where it specifically talks about animal rights groups are not happy. And this morning they had um, a protest outside of City Hall in Halton Region, which I just happened to see on the news just about an hour ago. So Halton Regional Police have charged a 28-year-old man. As we know, they have not named him. And let's see if there's anything different in this. Yeah, they just say they think that the Anita Crines, she's the co-founder of the Animal Save movement, says the charges are feeble and do not amount to justice for Regan. And it's really sad. So they say Regan was a pioneer of Canada's animal rights movement. I mean, she was doing it for more than 40 years. And, you know, it just flies in the face of those people who want to come at us and say, you can't survive being vegan, you can't subsist, it's impossible. And they like to act as though each human has a different nutrient requirement. We don't. We as a species have a nutrient requirement. If some of us can live on this, it means we can all live on, one thing. We can all live on plants and try to live our lives as peacefully as we can. Okay, so Judy's stepson said the charge was lax and it just made the family's pain deeper. I mean, I'm glad there's a charge because I feared that they might call this completely an accident, like that maybe he didn't see her. Um, I'm glad. I mean, that would have been really, really, really hard to deal with. So I just don't understand though. Like I don't know. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. So grief is now compounded by anger, frustration, and confusion, her stepson said. We will be taking the time we need to reflect on this information. Our family is committed to revealing the truth in Regan's death and will be pursuing all avenues before us that work to that end. And I wonder if they're going to let the family see the video, or at least see the video up until a certain point. Now, when I did my first video about this, the very next day, I happened to listen to the Main Street Vegan podcast. If you guys have ever heard of Victoria Moran, she does an amazing weekly podcast. And lo and behold, she had a podcast that dealt with some tributes to Regan with Anita Crines and another woman named Fern. I can't remember, but Fern grew up with Regan. They were neighbors and schoolmates, and I think either Regan's father was Fern's teacher, and they were very, very close. So I would suggest, if you guys want to learn more about her and get really the detailed accounts of what had happened as they talk about it, you can hear it in this video. So I'm going to put the link to this podcast in the video so you guys can have, get more information if you like. Still such a horrible tragedy. So read more and listen. I'll just put the link in there for you guys. Yeah, so once you go to the main page, well, I actually have the whole link here, so I'll just put that in there, and then you guys can listen to it. Or if you have a podcast device on your phone, you can find this in the Main Street Vegan podcast. It's not too long ago, July 1st. All right, guys, that is all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. May Regan rest in power. What a tragedy.